So we did that today over here on the left, Monday 314 with the S&P above 4213. In reality, we had people getting long at 85 way down here for this move. But by the time we really were, as in my opinion, we're really certain that they were going to go to 40 with the S&P above 4213 and advance to 4240 to 41 should occur. They did do that advance. They moved up, and we had a swing high of 4239.75. Now, you may think that that's just a little, not much of a thing that they missed by one tick to get to 4240, but it actually is something important in our work, and it describes a market that really went up, even though it was a very easy to hold advance. They were under pressure by some amount to not be able to reach 4240, and they should have been able to do 4241, but they didn't, and they turned down. And that's why over, if you look on the right here, we had this chart. Market is in a weak position and will likely decline to 4168 from here. That was around 4216, and that was about 50 points worth of movement. And they're lower than that right now. We were looking for 4168. They're currently trading at 4161. There's some other indications we had, but this for lower prices, but this is the main target that we gave out, 4168. That would occur in today's second half of the day. So if we were to put up a chart of kind of a half-day chart, we are now in the second half of today. There's only two halves. So this would be the first half, and this would be the second half. The first half made a low of 4167. So it really all got completed 1 unit early in the first half of today. They still did do it and are still doing it in the second half, but they really rushed down there. And this was this was the part where they couldn't quite, if you bring up, say, a 30-minute chart, they just couldn't quite get to the number, and then they sold off pretty viciously. So it led to some pretty nice market action. This is the daily chart, so you can see where we are on the daily picture. And we do have some other forecasts because the market is below 4,300, and what that means to us into next week. And again, this being the 1 week early for the week of March 21st, the forecast that I gave out for March 21st, the week of March 21st, could actually happen in this week, given the volatility and so on that has been set up. But we do also want to consider that the market could firm up very nicely in advance of or at the time of the Fed announcement and be in a much better position. And if that's the case, there could be some really explosive moves to the upside. So again, we're not going to guess at it. We know that we're seeing weakness, not just because the market's going down. Down doesn't mean weak. Down can just be the market expressing itself, doing a natural thing to the downside. Like as an example, here's a 15-minute chart of this morning, and here's the market moving down. Is this weakness right here on the way to higher prices? No, this is just a natural pullback in an existing uptrend. What is weakness is when the market doesn't touch its target and fails there. That's weakness, as opposed to just pulling back in an existing trend or something like that. So when we see this, that alerts us that later when the market starts to really break important levels, that the weakness is going to be larger or more intense than normal. And that's exactly what we've seen today. So these are the two on the left-hand side over here for the morning advance, and the second part here. We didn't short it up here because when you see them miss a number, the very next bar could be the one that hits the number. So we can't be quite sure of that until later. But by the time we are sure of it, then we're also sure that it's going to go a lot farther than normal because of that weakness. See, so it is really like a story that's unfolding. And in many cases, you can sort of storyboard the market in your mind, if you will. And I've told you before that what I do is I go get the charts that are really the ones that are speaking to me clearly about the weakness, the ones that are speaking to me about what the target would be. And I put all of those on a page that I call the premise page. And then I have everything in front of me, and that page can change throughout the day. That page was, set up for this move here on the upside. And then later I had to change those charts after putting the premise, all the different charts together that would speak to me about this decline having to occur. So the purpose of the premise page is so that I don't have to jump around from one chart to another and get it all in my mind, in my mind's eye. I really want to be able to just flip to a page and see all the reasons that I'm in a particular trade. That's what I'm trying to do.